Hey everyone, welcome to the investor.bet NRL Round 22 Try Scorers preview and predictions video for all the upcoming games this weekend. This is now the fourth consecutive week of doing this. Our first 2 weeks were super successful. Last week was a bit rough, and even though there were really high-scoring games last week, there were a lot of forwards going over for those tries, and players who generally don't score that tries is just kind of one of those weeks, which can happen from time to time, which does highlight the importance of sticking to your bankroll staking structure and not just like constantly building it up really quickly whenever you're on a good run. Make sure you're sticking to the consistent stakes week on week and only making adjustments at certain intervals, which I cover in separate videos. But looking ahead to this weekend, we have 11 more try scorer bets. We're going to bet into 7 of the 8 games, and in this video, I'm going to run through each one of those and the reason why I believe that player is set up well to score a try. And the way we're doing this isn't based off, just randomly guessing or whoever we kind of think is most likely. There are 3 key things we're looking at when it comes to the try scorers. Firstly, we're using the NRL bet finders to highlight positions where the most likely tries are going to come from for a team. So, for example, looking at the Tigers-Cowboys game, I'll quickly run through this first so it makes sense what you're looking at as we go through the video. So for the Tigers, this is their tries for column based on the position. So we'll see fullback, they average 0.37 tries per game, which is 11th best in the league. So pretty poor. And as you see, it goes through all the different positions, left edge combined, right edge combined, wingers, centers, and halves, front row, second row, interchange. The sections in red and green here that I've just highlighted, that shows where they're ranked in the league. If they're ranked high in the league in that category, it's going to go green. If it's poor, then we're going to go red. And then on the opposite side here, we've got a tries against, which means this section here is where the Cowboys concede their tries. So, for example, Cowboys are ranked 9th in tries against to opponent fullbacks. They're ranked 14th in the league for opponent right wingers going over. So, for example, just straight away we can see up this, their right edge defense is pretty weak, but their left edge is really strong because they're ranked 2nd and 3rd in centers and wingers in that category. Effectively, what we're looking for is really good positions, and the bet finders allow us to do that really, really easy. We're pretty much looking for green numbers in this column and then red numbers in this column that match up, and then we can break it down which player is going to play that position. We go through the lineups to see who's going to be playing that position, and then we match that up with the try scorer trends here, so we can see overall for the season how many tries that player scored, where their tries have been, what kind of form they're in, whether it's tries early on in the season, late in the season, what percentage of games they average 1 try in, 2 tries, 3 tries, and so on. We go through that for all the games, and then the other tool as part of the bet finders is looking at just the rankings overall in the league. So you can not only see where they're ranked, but also how that stacks up. So for example, for left winger, Titans have scored 20 tries through that position. Next best is 14. So they're well clear compared to other sides. However, if you go across to their right winger, they're ranked 16th with only 6 tries through that position. And these numbers really give you an indication on where team strengths are beyond just the players, and also from strategy perspective of where they're going to target. So, for example, just straight away looking at this game, the Tigers, for them to score tries, they're really going to have to target their right edge because that's where the Cowboys struggled defensively. If they are pushing all their play towards their left center, left winger, then it's going to be really, really difficult for them to score points. And we can go through that for all the games. So hopefully that gives you an indication. And then we're also just looking at how the players that we highlight have performed previously against that team. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hopefully that rundown gave you an insight into what we're actually doing here. So there's actually a strategy behind how I go through and choose these bets. It's not random. It's not guessing. It's not based on my own personal opinion or gut feelings of who I think is going to score. So Tigers, Cowboys, this is the Thursday night game. The 2 situations that stand out in this matchup, there's not really that many, but there are a couple. Firstly, for the Tigers, the only area where they have a significant edge is in the front row. They're ranked 3rd in tries to front row, and the Cowboys concede the second most tries to opponent front rowers. They're obviously front rowers are very difficult to predict when they're going to cross for a try because the majority of them only score a handful of tries throughout an entire season. So predicting which games they're going to score in is extremely tricky, and for the most part, I personally just stay away from it. Coruscant is the player for the Tigers front row who does score the most tries. He has scored 4 overall on the season, averaging a try in 24% of games. But outside of that, the other 2 front rowers really don't cross all that often. So I'm just going to stay away from that. And obviously, David Klemmer hasn't scored all season long either. And the other prop has only scored 3 tries overall in the season. So I'm going to stay away from that perspective. Also think the Tigers are going to struggle in this game. If you've already watched the full round preview where I go through the predictions for each game. Then with the Cowboys, their main key area is the right edge. You'll notice they're the number 1 right edge attack and number 11 left edge attack. So majority of their attacking goes towards the right-hand side, and the Tigers are the second worst defense on the right edge, but are especially the worst right winger defense. That plays perfectly into the hands of Kyle Feldt for the Cowboys, who plays right wing. If we look at him overall on the season, he scored 14 tries so far, averaging just under a try a game. He has scored in his past 5 games a total of 7 tries, and he has scored in 3 of the past 4 against the Tigers. So he's in really good form. This is a kind of a situation where we're not getting massive odds about him on Neds. He's paying $1.52 to score a try. So that will be the first play. That's the strongest play in this game, and the only one I feel like is worth backing. You'll notice looking at this that right center as well is a strong position for the Cowboys. But Villamai playing currently right center. Some teams play number 4 on the right center. Some teams play it on the left center. That's a topic for another video. But looking at him overall on the season, I'll quickly spot his name. Down here as center, he's only scored the 1 try on the season throughout a total of 11 games. So very difficult to get involved with him from a betting perspective. And so Feldt's the only play there in the opening game. I'll recap all the bets at the end as well, so stay tuned for that. But I feel like majority of the value of these videos is going through why these players are likely to score. So you can also use these to choose your own bets as well of any that stand out. And obviously all these tools I'm using are part of the NRL bet finders, which you can access through the link in the description. Warriors versus Eels is the early game on Friday night. This is the one game I'm going to stay out of from a betting perspective. The Eels are terrible defensively, left edge, right edge, but the odds on the try scorers for the Warriors have been massively shortened compared to what they are in general. And I just really don't think there's a ton of value. Warriors number 1 try scorer, Leotua, who's currently only played 3 games and scored 2 tries, but then Wateni Zelezniak, who's the Warriors' leading try scorer. He plays right wing for the Warriors, and that's one of the better positions that the Eels defend. And then the Warriors left edge is really poor. So I think with those factors in mind, I'm just happy to stay out of the Warriors. The 2 other positions, halves and front row, are potential betting opportunities. Sean Johnson comes back into the lineup this week for the Warriors. I think that also is going to help their attack overall in general. I wouldn't be surprised if they rack up a score, but I just don't think there's a ton of value in the try scorer bets for this game. From the Eels, the tricky situation with Parramatta is their right edge attack is their better side. However, that's the better side for the Warriors defense. And where the Eels are poor is also where the Warriors are poor defensively. And there's no other areas where there's an edge there for the Eels. So just going to stay out of that game. Dolphins versus Roosters. There's 2 plays in this game that I like. Firstly, for the Dolphins, expect they're going to target the left edge because they're fairly weak over on the right-hand side, and the Roosters are the number 1 right edge defense. So we're going to need to target the left edge, and we're going through a left winger here. Dolphins score the 2nd most tries through the left wing, and Roosters concede the 10th most tries through the left wing. So this is going to be the key area. If we come over to the lineups, we'll go down to game number 3. Jack Bostock playing left wing here for the Dolphins. Overall, this season, he has scored 13 total tries. He has scored a try in 2 of his past 3 games and has been fairly consistent overall throughout the season, scoring a try in 59% of matches. Then if we look up at the odds for him to score in this game, on the TAB, they have him $1.95 to score a try. So that'll be the second play. Then we go to the other matchup in this game that I do like, and that is targeting the right edge for the Roosters. And their score, the 4th most tries to this side. Their left edge is slightly stronger, but the Dolphins are slightly better defensively on that side. The Roosters have a strong edge here in the right wing. They score the 4th most tries, and the Dolphins' right edge defense is not significantly, but a little bit worse than their left edge defense. So playing right wing for the Roosters is Dom Young, who scores a try almost every game. He's scored a try in 80% of matches this season, and in his past 6 starts has scored a try, and also has scored a try in 10 of his past 11 games. So definitely expect him to get a try scoring opportunity in this game, and he's paying $1.45. So another fairly short one. Generally don't like to take pretty much $1.40 is my absolute cutoff, but try to keep as many as possible above $1.50. And for Young, though, for a player that's scored a try in 10 of their last 11 games, you know they're very consistent, and then you can factor that into what price you're willing to take. So those are the 2 plays for the Roosters Dolphins game. The other ones that kind of stand out a little bit is left center for the Roosters. So Manu is a potential play, and then also the second row for the Roosters. Crichton, Radley, and Watson playing second row for the Roosters this season. Or in this game, sorry. And they all are potentials of scoring tries, and it's just a little bit hard to pick. Crichton is the leading try scorer of that bunch with 8 tries overall in the season, scoring a try in 40% of games. So if you can get around the $2.50, $2.80 mark for him to score a try, then it's a potential there. But we already have 2 plays in this game, and there's another game coming up where I have 3 plays. So I'm not going to force another one in this matchup. Titans versus Broncos, 2 plays in this game. Firstly, with the Titans, as we spoke about at the top of this video, through the left wing is where they score the majority of their tries. Now, there's a slight problem here because the Broncos' left edge defense is way stronger than their right edge defense. However, Titans just don't put any effort into attacking down that side, and they'll just consistently persist with the left edge. And Camperera is in extremely good try scoring form. He scored 5 tries in his past 3 games. He's also scored a total of 9 tries across his past 5 starts. He's also scored 16 tries across his past 12 games this season, only missing a try on 2 occasions. He's also scored 4 total tries and scored a try in all 3 starts against the Broncos. So it's very difficult to see him not getting across for a try. On Sportsbet, he's paying $1.54 to score a try. So he's going to be the first play in this game. And then the other play that we're going to go with is at fullback for the Broncos, Reece Walsh. Broncos score the 3rd most tries through fullback, and this is where the Titans concede the most tries in the league to this position. Walsh has scored a try in his past 3 games, averaging a try in 75% of matches played this season. And against the Titan side, who can see the most tries to the fullback, I think he's a big chance of scoring a try in this game. And with TAB, he's paying $1.85 to score a try. It's very important that you shop around for the best possible prices. For example, Walsh is paying around $1.60 at most books, and I was able to, just going through quickly, find him at $1.85 on the TAB. Then into the next game now, Storm versus Dragons. This game, we're going to have 3 plays. Firstly, Storm fullback. They're the 2nd best in the league, scoring the 2nd most tries to this position. The Dragons can see over half a try game, ranked 13th in the league. So good situation here for Ryan Pappenhausen for the Melbourne Storm. He scores the most tries for the Storm so far this season with a total of 10. He scored a try in 3 of his past 4 games. In the second half of the season, obviously missing the middle part of the year through injury, and scores a try in 67% of matches overall in the season. With the TABs paying $1.60 to score a try, and against the Dragons side, where in a game where the Storm are expected to rack up a score against them, I think he's a very big chance of going across and scoring a try. Also, for the Melbourne Storm, the other really good situation for them is in the halves. Cam Munster played about half the game last week, and then he's named to start at 5/8 this weekend. So Munster and Hughes in the halves for the Storm, and the Dragons concede the second most tries to opponent halves. We look here at the statistics, or at the trend, sorry, for the Storm. So Munster at 5/8 has only scored the 2 tries on the season, only returned last week, as I mentioned. And then Jerome Hughes has scored 5 tries on the season, averaging 33%. Neither of them are major players that cross the line all that often. However, in this situation against the Dragons, I'm happy to take a chance for either one of them to score a try, and that's paying $1.72 on Sportsbet. So we need either Munster or Hughes to score a try. So if one of them score, then that bet wins. Pretty much only Sportsbet, Neds, and Ladbrokes offer this market. PointsBet offers some of them, but not all. So you can't shop around as much, but in general, with player props, you want to shop around as much as possible to secure the best odds. For the Dragons, there's one situation where I feel like we can take advantage of here against the Storm. So Dragons' left edge is really poor, but their right edge isn't all that bad, and the Storm don't defend that side very well, especially right wing, and that's where the Dragons score the majority of their tries. You see ranked 5th in the league through that position. Zach Lomax plays right wing for the Dragons. So far this season, he scored 11 tries overall. Hasn't scored in his past 2 games, but does still overall in the season score a try in 53% of matches. So as long as we're getting a fair enough price with which I feel like we are with the TB, we're getting $2.50 for Lomax to score a try. And I feel like, Stormer $1.10, they're likely going to win the game by plenty. And if the Dragons are to score, then Lomax is the most likely player to do it, and we're getting a fair enough price. One thing you do want to do with your try scorer bets, because it's kind of a range of odds, really anything from around the $1.50 up to the $3 mark for the majority of bets. You want to stake it in accordance and kind of stake each bet to win the same amount. So therefore, you'll have more on the players that are at shorter odds and less stake on the players at longer odds. Sharks versus Rabbitohs. There are a number of good situations here, but there's only really one bet I want to take. The Rabbitohs don't really defend either side of the field all that well. You could say they defend the right edge slightly better than the left edge. But looking at the lineups for this game, Mulatalo out on the left wing for the Sharks, so Sam Stonestreet comes in to replace him. So I don't think the Sharks are going to be pushing too hard towards that side of the field. And so for those reasons, we're going to play the right winger here. Sharks score the second most tries through this position, and Rabbitohs ranked 13th in defending it. So Sione Katoa with the TAB is paying $1.60 to score a try. This is another one. He's around $1.40 at other places. So you can definitely shop around, get, the extra 15, 20 cents for them to score a try. It definitely adds up massively in the long run. Also, for Katoa against the Rabbitohs, has scored a try in his past 5 games against them. So a really good situation for him. I expect him to cross for a try. We have a quick look at him overall on the season. Didn't score a try in his last game, but did score a try in his 5 previous starts for that game last week against the Cowboys. So expect he should be able to bounce back and score a try. The other good situations, obviously left wing is a really good one for the Sharks. You could potentially back Stonestreet to score a try. I just don't think there's a ton of value in his price, even though it's a good situation for him. I'm hoping the Sharks just push more of their attack towards the right edge. Also, with the Sharks, in the halves, they're ranked number 2 overall in the league. Rabbitohs ranked 15th defensively in this category. Braden Trindle is the one who majority of the time crosses for the Sharks. He has scored in his past 4 games, 58% of the time overall on the season. Is potentially a good betting opportunity as well in this game. That was one that I did have highlighted and decided to just, I'm going to leave that one out. So it's one that I definitely looked very closely at, but decided not to go with it. Against the Rabbitohs, he scored in 2 of his past 3 against them. So definitely not a bad bet and one that was very close to being made. And you could also look into the front rowers here for the Sharks, but they're a side that generally rotate their props a fair bit. Brayley playing dummy half, but it's just one that I'm just happy to stay away from. And then for the Rabbitohs, there's really no good situations. As I said, we're looking for green numbers here, red numbers here, and then that's how we can do a quick analysis, and then we can dive deeper into those situations. But there's really nothing even worth investigating there for the Rabbitohs, and I think the Sharks will win that game and win it well. The Sunday games are the 2 games with the lowest total points lines. So these are expected to be slightly lower scoring games. But there are one bet I want to have in each of these games. So firstly, Panthers versus Knights. Penrith really bounced back to form last week and racked up a really big score. My only concern with this matchup is Brian Tahoe has a really good record scoring tries against the Knights. Scored try in his past 4. However, past 4 against Newcastle, I should say. However, Newcastle are really good at defending the right edge this season. However, they're not that great at defending the left edge. So that's where we're going to target, and playing left wing is the key position we want to go after here. And so that's a Taruva for the Panthers with TAB. He's playing $1.65 to score a try. We look at him overall this season. He scored 12 tries overall. A lot of those did come in the opening 9 rounds of the season. Lately, his numbers have been down. However, that does coincide a little bit with Nathan Cleary being out of the lineup. If you notice, a lot of these games where he wasn't in the lineup is where Truva wasn't scoring tries. Cleary back for the past couple of weeks. Think they'll be able to target that left edge just that little bit more, and that'll get his numbers back up. So he's the most likely try scorer based on this in this game, but I'm just definitely aware of To'o's form as well, especially against the Knights. So either of those to play, I feel like you don't want to really play both, playing one or the other, but I'm going with Truva in the Panthers Knights game. And then final game of the round, Bulldogs versus Raiders. With the Bulldogs, first of all, the centers is where I feel like the tries are going to come from. Bulldogs ranked 3rd in tries through centers. Raiders can see the 2nd most tries. And it's interesting here, like if you look at this, through left center, they're ranked 16th, and through right center, ranked 16th, but they don't give up tries to the wingers. So that being said, like we can get a little bit more value here on the Bulldogs, as feel like, that's where they're going to be able to target. So Cherry and Crichton are going to be the try scorers here for the Bulldogs. And so either play to score a try at $1.50. You could also back one or the other once again. But I'm just going to play it a little bit safer and take either or to score a try. Bronson Cherry scores 6 tries on the season. He scored a try in his past 3. And then Stephen Crichton missed last week, back in the lineup. Scored a number of tries through the mid part of the season. Hasn't scored in his past 3. But I think he can bounce back here against the Raiders side, especially with the Bulldogs being back at home. Crichton also has a really good record against the Raiders. He scored 6 tries in his past 4 games against them and scored a try in each of those. With either of those, Sherry in really good form, Stephen Crichton with a good record against the Raiders, I feel like one of those 2 players can cross here for a try. So those are the 11 plays that we're going with. Quickly recap. So with Neds, Carl Felt to score for the Cowboys. Then TAB, Jack Bostock to score for the Dolphins, Dominic Young for the Roosters, Reece Walsh for the Broncos, Ryan Pappenhausen for the Storm, Zach Lomax for the Dragons, Sione Katoa for the Sharks, and Sania Taruva for the Panthers. And then on Sportsbet, Cam Munster, Jerome Hughes to either play to score a try for the Melbourne Storm, for the Bulldogs, Bronson Xerri or Stephen Crichton to score a try, and Cam Pereira for the Titans to score a try. So those are the 11 plays. That's a quick recap. Hopefully this video gave you some insight into how you can go through and choose your try score bets and use situational analysis to find the best situations, because doing this on a consistent weekly basis, you can kind of figure out where teams should be targeting their attack based on the opponent weaknesses. And that's why I built the Bet Finders to make this process and this analysis process very easy for everybody to do. Like it's been over 10 years of me using tools similar to this. The one you're looking at right now is one that I recently built specifically to make these videos and just make my analysis a little bit easier, because previously I was using this and even that was like a little bit time consuming, and I'm always looking at ways to make things more efficient. And so then that gives you time to take in more information and complete your analysis in a more, not just efficient, but effective way of consuming that information. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching and following along. Make sure you subscribe if you want more videos like this. And if you want to use these tools, I'll put the link in the description. You can go to that page, it has more details about it, how they work, how you can use them specifically to make money betting on the NRL every season. So thanks guys for watching and have a great weekend.